Hello friends and welcome to my channel for another custom action figure video. Recently on the channel I made a custom McFarlane Panthersuit Batman from Batman Forever, and I also customized the Batman Forever Batmobile to make it look screen accurate. That really ignited my interest in trying to fill out the roster of figures from that film, and so I decided to make a Two-Face and a Riddler. So today, obviously, we're going to be making Two-Face. Now, I like to have soft goods versions of all of my figures whenever possible. I like the realism as opposed to like the, where you can see the joints and stuff like that. I don't like seeing that, right? I don't like molded plastic. I would rather have cloth goods because it's a lot more realistic, for me, for my preference. And so a lot of this was inspired by the fact that I was looking at the Two-Face from Mezco and I was like, oh, you know what? He basically has the same suit. Now on this, the red side with the stripes looks more magenta, but on screen and like in the other like photos I've seen, it looks a lot more red. So I was like, you know what? That's a perfect base. So basically all I'm gonna have to do is paint all this stuff on, which is actually a lot of work, but that's fine. Swap the hands, swap the head, and swap the shirt out for a white one, and then a new tie. So all in all, like, it's gonna be a lot of work because this is a lot of intricate detail, but for the most part, like, it's gonna be pretty fun and something I've never done before, and so I'm looking forward to it. Now, I had initially ordered a shrunken head for Two-Face off of eBay. I think it was probably from one of the third-party 6-scale companies that makes these, because there are at least 2 of the Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face out there, and they took forever to ship it. Eventually, they finally shipped it, and something happened with the package with the third-party shipping partner from China. Like, they sent me some razor blade attachments instead of what I actually was trying for. So I was like, you know what, screw it, like, cancel the order. I'm just going to get the McFarlane one and see how it does, because usually their heads run a little small, and sometimes Mezco heads run a little big. So usually a McFarlane head works perfectly for a Mezco figure. And I was really pleasantly surprised at just how good this sculpt is. Like, McFarlane can be really hit or miss on head sculpts. Like, sometimes they really nail it. If you look at the Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill head sculpts, they're not good at all. Like Jason Momoa, they nail. Ray Fisher, they nailed. I think they did a really good Chris O'Donnell. So, they really do a good job on a lot of likenesses, and this was, I thought, like, no exception. So a little bit of work on this just to make it a little more realistic, but I mean, this is pretty much good enough to just plug and play. Now, the main challenge for this is going to be this guy's head and neck are one piece. So I'm going to have to cut out the neck on this guy. And this is one piece with the shirt. You can see on the inside there, the neck is white, the same color as the shirt. So I'm pretty sure that's all one piece. So I'm going to have to cut this out and stick it in there. And that's going to be a little challenging. So I'm going to have to heat that up, probably boil it in some water and get it nice and soft and then cut into it. And to paint the stripes on, I'm going to be using this Angelus leather paint. I use this stuff all the time, and a lot of people have been telling me that they started using it too. Shout out to Crimson Reigns, online buddy of mine who's been using this stuff to really great effect, so check out his channel. Yeah, this stuff is really perfect for painting on fabric. It's flexible, it doesn't chip away or flake off. So I'm gonna get a fine tip brush and just paint a bunch of tiger stripes on this guy. So yeah, I'll check back in with some progress, but I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. All right, a little check in here. I got the shirt painted. So this is just a white shirt I had in my bit. This is the coat, the suit jacket. I taped it off so that the paint wouldn't bleed over. So I'm gonna do the stripes on the white first, and then I'm gonna take the tape off and do it on the red. I also got the head switched out. It wasn't quite tall enough, and there's basically hot glue holding it in place. And then it's in there pretty snugly though, and I still have a good amount of articulation. So yeah, the neck doesn't move a ton, but I don't need it to. Like, I'm not going to be dynamically posing this guy. So yeah, and Tommy Lee Jones kind of has a big head, so I think this is working out well scale wise too. So yeah, I'm excited to get the rest together. All right, the pants are done, and that was every bit as tedious as I thought it would be. Kind of fun, but yeah, pretty tedious. So what I'm doing to make the zebra stripes is I'm taking this long brush here. What I'm finding is working really well is I just really load the brush up, and I'm just kind of pressing it like that. It's giving me the look I wanted to achieve. So I'm going to move on to the jacket, and then I also need to do like leopard print on the yellow on the shirt there. All right, so the jacket is done. And I realized when I was looking at some reference photos that the white part is actually like metallic. It almost has that sort of like oil spill, holographic look to it. So I added some of the silver Angelus leather paint, and I just watered it down and it went thicker in some areas because I wanted it to be uneven, so it kind of had that look to it where it's sort of picking up different colors. And I mixed a little bit of blue into it as well. I'm pleased with it. It turned out pretty well. So that's the pants and the jacket done. And next I got to do the leopard print on the shirt. I think I'm going to just try using a pen on it. All right, so that worked pretty well. I'm using a Copic multi-liner. These are like the kind of pens I draw with. You can use anything as long as it's not like a ballpoint. I think it'll work pretty well. Like microns would be pretty good too. All right, here's Two-Face all finished up. And a couple things I haven't shown yet are his shoes, his glove, and the coin flip. So the coin flip hand is from, well, the hand is just one from the fodder bin, but I don't remember what body. I think it's a Noda hand. And then the coin flip effect is from the Mezco Two-Face that this figure was made from. And, you know, he's got coins that I could just put in the hand, but I was like, you know what? This is such a cool little accessory, and I don't have anything like that in my display, so I thought I would use it. The pistol is a NECA Terminator, like, police sidearm. I've got like a dozen of them, so and it's close enough to what he used in the movie. The grip on that one was black, but I didn't want to deal with like paint rub, so I just left it as it is. I'll probably paint it later. But yeah, very pleased with how this guy turned out. Oh, and then the shoes, basically, this is the kind of shoe he was wearing in the movie. Thankfully, it was already on the figure, so I just chromed out with the Molotow chrome pen the spots where it got a little smudged on the inside there, but all in all, it looks pretty good. So yeah, quite pleased with how this guy turned out. And I haven't shown the finished head sculpt yet. So again, this is the McFarlane one. I repainted the eyes and I painted some skin texture onto him. I did some highlighting on the scarred side of his face and his hair, and we'll look at it under better lighting setup here in a moment, but just wanted to give you the full shot of him in all his glory first. So let's get him on the workbench and take a closer look. All right, taking a closer look at Two-Face here. And again, the head sculpt on this McFarlane figure was just so good. So I did my kind of texture stippling thing where I take, you know, usually I'll flick paint at these, but because I wasn't doing a full paint job from like a blank sculpt, I wanted to, you know, maintain what was already there. And if I flicked at it, then I'd have to mask it off and wipe it up and stuff. So instead, what I did was I just took a brush and I kind of split the bristles and dabbed it along to get this kind of skin texture with different colors. I used like a lighter skin tone and then some red. And then I went in with the under eye and his 5 o'clock shadow area and used some blue, which is a thing I talk about a lot, and how to kind of create a nice subtle 5 o'clock shadow. And then I repainted the eyes and gave them a gloss coat and kind of touched up the hair. Now the neck, it was difficult because the neck wasn't tall enough for the purposes I need, so I had to go in and paint it. So the paint isn't exactly the same color. The contrast is higher on camera than it is to the naked eye. Just a quick note about the neck here. Initially, when I had set it all up, it sat a lot lower and the collar was tighter, but the tie got loose. And when that happened, the collar got loose and therefore the neck was more visible as well as sitting higher than it was. So, you know, once I saw it as I was editing this video, I was like, nah, I gotta redo this. I was unhappy with like the change in the texture on it. So I sanded it down, repainted, and it looks a lot better now. And for some suit management, I used some double stick tape. And I just like laid it in certain areas underneath his jacket and the shoulder and stuff, just to kind of get everything to sit properly. Just real pleased with how it turned out. I think the silver worked really well, that I mixed in with the white area, and it really has that kind of cool metallic look to it.
This is such a goofy design for the character, you know, but it's fun and it's going to add a nice pop of color to the shelf. So I'm pretty stoked on that. This hand is from the McFarlane figure, and I used the chrome pen on these kind of rivet pieces. I don't know what you call these, but yeah, the metal bits on the gloves. So yeah, overall, I think this is just a really nice finished look to them. So here's my Batman Forever display. It's currently on the bottom shelf and it's gonna get moved up. I'm gonna have to do it because I'm just falling in love with these figures and this Batmobile. And you know, if you watched my videos on the Batmobile, I was like, I'm not gonna customize it. I'm just gonna turn the lights blue with a tint thing. And then I ended up redoing the whole thing and making it screen accurate, you know, wiring the headlights, all that stuff, repainting it. Then I made the Panther suit Batman, which is a pretty recent video on my channel. You can go check out if you'd like to see how I did it. I got Robin, which I didn't have before. He's gonna get customized. And what I'd like to do is put this in a bat cave setup on a higher shelf like I have my other ones. Let me show those real fast here. So there's my 89 cave display that I made on the channel. Battinson sort of diorama. It's more just a image cutout. It's my 66. I still need to make one for Batfleck. And then of course I have my tumbler in the Batcave. That's going to be switched out with the Moto King tumbler pretty soon here. But yeah, so, you know, I need to move this one up. I think I'm going to swap it with my Mission Impossible team here. And I'm having so much fun making these, and it's really making me remember how much I love this Batman movie. Yeah, I mean, I know it's corny and of its time, but, you know, it came out when I was 10 years old. It'll always have kind of a special place in my heart. So this is becoming one of my favorite shelves in the display. You know, I'd like to do in the background, like that big bat symbol with those lines across the middle that he has in the cave. So I'll probably make a wall like that to go with it. Maybe even get a Val Kilmer Bruce Wayne. I'm kind of going all in on this shelf. So this has been a lot of fun, and I'm really having a nice time talking with a lot of the Batman Forever fans that are lurking around out there. Speaking of Batman Forever fans, I would like to shout out Les Walker 2023. Check out his channel. Really nice guy, and he just did an amazing Panther suit custom with a bunch of stuff in it that was different than mine. And he really did some cool stuff. He maintained cowl articulation and got the silhouette correct. He really went into the details of like flattening out the bat symbol. I left mine three-dimensional, but he went in and flattened his. He redid the belt, the cod piece. So just really phenomenal work. And we're, I feel like, in a really fun inspiration loop with each other where, you know, he saw mine and was inspired, then I saw his and was inspired. And that's my favorite thing about this community, is when we can really inspire each other and get each other excited to make stuff. Big shout out to Les. Check out his channel and give him a subscribe. Yeah, he's a big Batman 95 fan from what I gather, and he's got a pretty epic collection of some amazing customs he's made, both in 112 and 1/6 scale. So please do check him out. And while you're at it, I'd love it if you subscribe to my channel. If you're into this sort of thing, and if you enjoy these kinds of videos and these kind of figures, this is what I do here. So now, aside from custom figures, I also make comic books. I'm a comic book artist by trade. I write and draw my own graphic novels, and I've got a bunch of cool books available, and I've got a brief little bumper at the end of this video that's going to talk to you about some of them, as well as some cool shirts I have available. So if you are interested in watching that and helping out the channel, I would really appreciate it. And you might find something you like, or a book you'd like to read. So I invite you to stick around for that. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'm going to go ahead and let that little clip roll.
So that is going to do it for this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I invite you to click the like button and hit subscribe and join me as I make cool stuff. Custom figures, dioramas, vehicles to go with the figures. I review new stuff that I get on the channel. If you're looking for other ways to support this, I've got t-shirts available. My Head on Swivel shirt, as well as several other action figure and comic book themed shirts, are available in my Redbubble shop. If you've never used Redbubble, it's pretty great. You pick the color shirt, the style, and the design you want, and they ship it right to you. Now, if you're not a t-shirt person, but you like comics, I've got several comics and graphic novels available, namely my books High Crimes, Count, and Retroactive. High Crimes is kind of Breaking Bad meets Cliffhanger. Retroactive is like James Bond meets Groundhog Day, and Count is my sci-fi reimagining of the Count of Monte Cristo. Think kind of a, you know, John Wick meets Batman meets Zorro. It's a cool story with swashbuckling action and sword fights and vehicle chases, and it's about redemption, revenge, and revolution. So those are all available at your local comic shop, bookstore, or at the links in the description below. So to everyone who's picked up a shirt already or one of my books, thank you so much. It means the absolute world to me. I really, really appreciate it. It really helps make it so that I can do this kind of stuff and bring you more videos. Couldn't ask for anything more, so thank you. So that is going to do it for this one. Until next time, keep your head on swivel.